Turkey is one of the most visited countries in the world. Each year, millions of tourists spend their holiday here. But for some reason, many of them return home with negative travel stories.
I feel really uncomfortable.
They speak of scammers, pushy salesmen, and uncomfortable schemes. But now, after visiting this part of the country, I think I finally understand where those stories come from.
I think now I remember why people don't like this country.
Friends, in the last few years, I've visited Turkey 4 times. I've spent more than 6 months here and can confidently say that I've seen most of this country. Yet there is one region that I've so far avoided like fire. It's a place known for its luxurious hotels and international tourists. Yet for some reason, many of the negative stories about that country originate from there. Well, in this video, we're gonna go there. We're gonna visit this strange part of the country and try to figure out what makes it so different from the rest of Turkey. Why do tourists even keep going back there, and is it really as bad as they say? So I guess it's time for me to stop avoiding the fire. Yeah, I know I didn't have any bigger candles, but it was just to illustrate the point. Let's go. My journey today begins in Ankara. And to everyone who lives here, I quickly have to say, don't worry. Turkish capital is definitely not the tourist trap that we will be focusing in this video. Yet the reason I was here is important. I wanted to answer the main question you guys have been asking under the last 2 videos. Where is Liisu? Liisu spent the last 2 weeks in Scotland, learning about travel and expedition medicine in the University of Glasgow. By the way, I just want to add that I'm super proud of Liisu for going back to school. I know it's not gonna be easy doing full-time traveling and university at the same time, but if anyone can do it, it's gonna be her. And also, I guess everybody agrees that every relationship needs at least one smart person. Look what I found from the airport. Now that the dream team was back together, it was time for us to leave the cold and snowy part of the country behind. We headed south, and well, although we had done a fair bit of research, then what waited us there was still a huge shock. Wait, let me paint you a picture with words. Imagine a beautiful coastline, hundreds of kilometers long. Day after day, the sun keeps warming the sand on numerous beaches, and the only thing breaking the seemingly endless tranquility are the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of all-inclusive hotels occupying the shoreline. Friends, welcome to Sightseeing and Alanya, 2 resort towns on the Turkish southern coast. Entering those towns felt quite strange. Never before had we seen places like this in Turkey. The beachfront of the towns was filled with gigantic hotels, going as far as the eye can see. And the streets further away were made up of stores and shopping centers, focusing on handbags, souvenirs, and name brand clothes, as fake as politicians' promises. Resorts on one side and just endless shops on the other side. As shopping wasn't our first priority, and we kind of expected this experience to be stressful, we decided to start discovering the towns from their more relaxed parts. In Sightseeing, we first found ourselves on a small, beautiful walkway. Seashell Resort, something else resort, something else resort. It separated the endless resorts from the water, and as soon as we arrived, we were approached by few locals, who I guess just wanted some love.
Don't leave me.
Yet as we reached our destination, it was hard to believe our eyes.
I guess this is the place where thousands of people come, because there's just so much room for people.
The whole beach looked like an industrial site, full of iron and concrete.
It's funny seeing how there's basically nothing else but resorts and then weird looking shops.
I do understand that we were here on the off-season, And empty resorts probably can't afford to hire workers to take care of the beaches every day. At the moment it's like a post-apocalyptic resort town or something like this. But I'm also not sure if I would actually feel more comfortable being here in the summer when there's thousands of people all around me. Most of them probably drunk from the free booze that the all-inclusive resorts offer. In Alanya, the situation was a little bit better. Well, here we are, the crown jewel of Alanya. Cleopatra Beach, Cleopatra Bay. Their famous coastline was definitely more inviting than the one in Sida. Well, it surely didn't look like a construction site.
And this was the last time we saw Joe.
Yet still, it was hardly comparable to the hundreds of beautiful beaches found in western Turkey. And so, being here raised a new question. If it isn't for the most beautiful beaches in the country, then what brings so many tourists here each year for a beach holiday?
So much plastic, so much plastic.
As we couldn't find the answers to our questions on the seaside, we decided to continue our journey with a sightseeing tour at the main attractions of the two cities, and soon started to understand where the negative stories might be coming from. In Side, it meant visiting the ancient city and the old town. It was beautiful and stylish, with of course many stores all around. Gold, silver, jewels, and some white shoes. These are pretty much 90% of the stores. And for me, it's just fun to imagine how this place looked like 2000 years ago. How people would enjoy shows at the amphitheater. Quite incredible to wrap my head around the fact that 2000 years ago 15 to 20,000 people could be seated here to see a show, see theater, just wow. And how giant temples would stand next to the raging sea. The wind is a tiny bit violent today, that's the only problem. Otherwise it's pretty beautiful here. Yet just like on the beachfront, here as well, we got approached by few locals. But I guess their intentions were a fair bit different. They were unauthorized guides, trying to make a quick dollar of passing tourists. Self-appointed guide, looking for German people who need assistance. I would hardly call it a scam, but if you do decide to use their services, make sure to agree on the price beforehand, just to avoid nasty surprises. Quite similarly to Side, Alanya also has a beautiful and unique historic center. Hilltop Castle and an ancient shipyard, only to name a few of the places. Walking through the narrow streets and climbing the city walls was definitely enjoyable. The views on the city itself from the Red Tower, also quite stunning. Yet going from one place to another was much more stressful than we anticipated. To put it simply, we kind of felt like beautiful women walking in all-male prison.
Hello. How are you, sex machine?
The unwanted attention was everywhere.
Where are you from?
That was the first. I think we've never had a situation when somebody's trying to force us into a pharmacy.
To buy magnesium.
And well, we weren't even in a shopping district yet. As we moved through the town, we did our best to focus on the positives. After all, Alanya itself was beautiful. It had many parks and green spaces, stunning coastline, yet everywhere we went, the same story kept repeating itself.
Hey, 1 hour, just. Eine Stunde.
Go to 1 hour now?
There always seemed to be someone yelling at us, trying to get our attention.
1 hour? Where are you from?
By the way, why I stopped to talk with the boat tour operators
10 euro, one person.
Pirsa 10 euro. Was just to show you. Çok.
Okay, 2 person, 50 euro. Normal, 10 euro each person. gelteliyor.
How easily their prices fall if you actually want a ship tour, which is quite the popular tourist attraction here. So yes, being constantly yelled at got tiring quite fast. And suddenly we realized that we were avoiding people. We stopped making eye contact and ignored those who yelled and approached us. Realizing this wasn't a good feeling. We have always prized ourselves for trying to connect with locals, even in the most touristic places. But I guess it was just a response from our bodies, trying to protect ourselves from all the attention and stimulation.
How are you, sex machine?
Something needed to change, and at first we found the most quiet place available. Feels quite nice to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city for a second. Just so quiet here. After a moment of silence, it was time to fill our bellies with something delicious. Have you ever walked in front of a restaurant and be like, why in a world should I eat here? Yet even finding proper Turkish food wasn't an easy task. When you're hungry and start to see food everywhere. Most restaurants here tend to cater for Western taste, and finding an actual Turkish restaurant between all the steakhouses took some effort. And when we finally found one, I can kind of understand why the southern coast isn't known for its food. It's okay, but well. Okay, I just realized that maybe we haven't been very positive about our experiences here. But I guess the thing is that there's actually nothing wrong here. It's a tourist town and it has a tourist town vibe. If I was here for the first time, I had seen no other place in Turkey, I would love it. The food is okay, the prices are cheap, but like after seeing the whole country, it just kind of doesn't really live up to the standards. But of course we haven't seen it all yet, so the next place we're going, I'm pretty sure that will change our mind. A thing we had been putting off for the whole day. Well, Turkey is world known for its markets, bazaars, and we're gonna have a look. We visited few different markets in both Side and Alanya, and I can't help to compare them with other bazaars I have seen in this country. For example, visiting the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul is an experience by itself. It is vibrant, lively, and every store sells something unique, made by local craftsmen. The smells, sounds, and atmosphere are a gateway to Turkish shopping culture. Well, Alanya has its own Grand Bazaar. We're gonna have a look. Or more accurately, there's more than one Grand Bazaars in Alanya. Yet the goods sold here are not made by craftsmen, but with one purpose: to fit the suitcases of tourists. The same fake brand clothes, handbags, belts, and jewelry. There's really no variety here, with every second store selling exactly the same things. Even the prices are only given in euros, to make it more convenient for visitors. If the prices are in euros, it's a very bad sign, by the way.
I feel really uncomfortable. Like you're at the meat market.
And if you add to the picture the rugged buildings and constant catcalling, then the end result is just...
I think now I remember why people don't like this country. It's because of these salesmen that just make you so uncomfortable.
Merhaba.
We are normal.
Normal. Teşekkürler. As we left the bazaar in Side, again a man on the street approached us. But this time it felt different. His name was Seljuk. Chai.
Outside.
And he asked us for a cup of tea. It felt amazing being able to speak to a local who had no alternative motive. He simply wanted to be kind. That was super nice. Seljuk just reminded us, what does Turkish kindness mean? It's easy to forget it in such touristic areas, but he just showed us what it actually means to be in Turkey. And after this talk, we finally realized why this region is so different from the rest of the country. You see, almost all of those hotels and resorts that now continuously occupy nearly 100 kilometers of the coastline were built here in the last 30 years. Many of the towns and businesses only focus on catering to foreign visitors. And this has created a weird situation. A situation where a big part of Turkish culture and values just don't apply here. This region was built for money. Even the exchange rates are like 3 to 5% worse than in the rest of the country. And to this day, it operates on it. This group just came off a boat trip, and now the captain is looking for them a taxi for double the price that it should be. And now, after hearing all this, if you're still wondering why so many tourists even come here each year, then the answer remains the same. Little online search shows that this region has pretty much the cheapest resort prices in the world. Can you imagine that $35 a night can get you an all-inclusive hotel, and $100 pays for proper luxury? So I guess if your goal is just to relax on a beach for a week or two, then for this, it might as well be the best, or at least the most affordable place in the world. Yet if you do wish to experience authentic Turkish culture, its food and nature, then in my humble opinion, there are better places for this. I feel a little weird. Like, putting this video together was very hard. I guess we just didn't expect to experience this side of Turkey on our own skin. But it was there, and on this channel it has always been our goal to show you the world through our eyes. So it would not have been right to just show you the beautiful and historic parts of this region. I hope at least you learned something, because we sure did. And I also want to add that if you are planning your own journey to Turkey and want to avoid the situations that we faced in this video, then we have created a perfect tool for this. It took us months of work, but now we're finally ready to show it to the public, our own Turkish travel guide. It's designed to make planning your own journey as easy and affordable as possible. Everything from transportation and accommodation to good food and beautiful places is of course covered in the book. But what makes it special is the inside knowledge. You will learn how to connect with locals, how to find the most authentic experiences. And since it's in a PDF form, it will always be with you on your journeys. So if Turkey is on your travel bucket list, make sure to follow the link in the description below. And to understand what traveling in this country is, well, supposed to feel like, and how the rest of Turkey feels like, make sure to watch this playlist next. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye.